Welcome to Modern Day Abigails. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new." So let's listen to God's Word, where everyday lives transform and where we can become the women God created us to be. I have talked to several women who they lost their babies very late on, or they would lose them after a few months of birth. Mm-hmm. And the hardest thing is devastating. And how do you worship the Lord when you've gone through that? But yet he expects us to.
Yeah.
And because we don't understand his ways. If we could understand God, he wouldn't be God. I mean, it's just simple. If we really understood him, he wouldn't be God if we understood him.
And sometimes he's like, yes, honey, I know this is going to hurt you.
Yeah.
I understand that I just broke your heart.
Yeah.
But we're still going to continue to do it my way because I know the outcome. Right. I know what's best. And there is a blessing at the end.
And if you're thinking that's not true, go back and read Mary and Martha and Lazarus.
Yeah.
Jesus knew he was going to hurt Mary and Martha.
Yeah.
He knew it, but he did it anyway because he had a point he had to go prove.
Right.
And he had a lesson to the world, a lesson to prove.
Yeah.
And he never apologized for hurting them.
No.
He cried with them.
He cried with them.
Yeah, he cried with them.
He mourned with them.
Yeah, but he did not. But he did not apologize.
You know, they loved on each other. And
then he's like, "Oh, by the way, your brother's going to live. Hey, Lazarus, rise up.
Yeah.
Come out, Lazarus." Yeah. That had to be rough too. And then, you have to, if we're going to stop, and I know we did Mary and Martha. So ladies, if you want to go back through the podcast, we did Mary and Martha. And I'm sure if I didn't mention it, I'm thinking it now, but they probably were sitting there going, you could have done this earlier now, couldn't you?
Right.
But the Lord had to make them wait. And sometimes the waiting hurts and it's hard. But when you get past that, all of a sudden you're like, okay, Lord, I see why you did what you did. Yeah. And I know that there's particular thoughts in my head and journey that I wanted to go differently. And I know one day I'm going to sit there and go, okay, Lord, I see why. I see why. Or the Lord's going to go, I didn't say no. I just said not yet.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted the Lord to, even after all I'd been through with my husband, I wanted the Lord to heal him, save him. I wanted John to become a Christian and restore and reconcile. And the journey, the 5.5 year journey was really, really, really rough. But when it was over, the Lord, I was like, Lord, I literally felt like I was losing my mind sometimes because one, it was hard. It was horrific and it was long. But the Lord's like, look, I'm doing something here. And so by the time it was over, not John, I was transformed.
Exactly.
My relationship with Jesus was, off the charts magnified.
Right.
You know, and my whole life and my thought process and me, I was different. I was not the old Joanna. He had literally transformed me during that horrific time that I didn't understand while it was happening into a completely different person who I am now.
Yeah.
And as I've said it before, I'd do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Knowing what I know now, who I am now, I would do it again.
And there's sometimes I'm like, Lord, I wish I just did it different. But like you said, by the time you look back, you're like, no, I am who I am because you allowed me to go through that. Yeah. And to learn and be transformed because of it. I learned so much how to pray. There was like a year there that he taught me how to pray and he answered the most amazing, specific prayers because he was showing me who he was. And I had the same hope that, he's going to get saved. And because I just thought it was real easy that you just tell people about Jesus and they automatically believe. I had no idea that. That's not how it works.
That's not how that works.
I don't know where. I guess because it was so easy for me that somebody said, "Hey, Jesus is real and you need to be saved." And I'm like, okay, I just thought it was like that for everybody. And then the Lord had to teach me, though, that's not how it works.
No.
And it's been amazing. I mean, I look back now and I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not in my 20s again.
For real.
I'm so glad I'm not in my 30s again. I'm just so glad I'm not there. I got through it.
I would do it again. I don't want to.
No, I don't want to do it again.
but I would.
Yeah, there's some periods
if
of our
the Lord
life.
said, I mean, I would do it again. I just don't want to.
No, there are some periods of time that especially when we first got into ministry, he had us learning so much stuff at once. It was like I tell people, it was like jumping in a pool at the deep end, except that pool is Niagara Falls.
Yeah,
and
you
you
don't
fall
know how to
forever,
swim.
and you barely have a life vest on. You got a little floaty. That's about it.
You got the baby floaties on your arms.
I mean, barely. And we go.
And they got popped.
Exactly. On the way down. And that's a long fall to the deep end. And I look back and I'm like, Lord, I thank you that we went through that because we learned a lot and we grew and we're different people. But at the same time, that sure did hurt.
Yeah.
And I never want to go through that again. Please don't let me go through that again.
Some of the journeys are
they're hard.
We only want to do them once. Because I tell the Lord all the time. So this is what I used to tell the Lord, and I still do. Lord, teach me now, because I don't want to do this one again.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Please.
This journey's been too hard. I don't
want to do it again.
Yeah. I want to do everything right the first time.
Teach me what I need to learn in this journey so we can get through it.
That's exactly right. And I don't want to prolong, Lord. No prolonging,
how many times
please.
Somebody goes, well, I'm teaching you long suffering.
Yeah.
I'm like, can we talk?
You already know it. Let's move on.
Yeah. I got the concept. Can we move on now?
Right.
Of course, the Lord's like,
clearly you don't.
The fruit of the Spirit says long suffering. We got to go through it.
If you're asking to hurry up, then you don't get
People
it.
are like, I never want to ask God for patience because he'll take you through it. Patience? Honey, wait until he teaches you long suffering.
For reals.
Patience suddenly becomes easy.
Oh, yeah.
Long suffering?
It's rough. It's so rough.
So if you're going through it, ladies, you have our deepest...
Hang in there. Hang in there.
You have our deepest sympathies. Hang in there. It is worth it. It's hard, but
the Lord's got a
worth
plan. There is an ending. It is not. It's temporary. It might be a long temporary, but it's temporary.
Yeah. And then those who said, I've never gone through long suffering. I'm sorry.
Listen, when you do, email us. We'll help you.
Yeah, email us. We'll send you prayers.
We'll pray with you.
Yeah, we'll pray with you because it's rough. Nobody wants that fruit. It's always amazing. Everybody reads the fruit of the Spirit, and most of them try to leave out long suffering and just make it patience. I'm like, it's not the same.
No, they go hand in hand.
No, well, I mean, patience is standing in line for your donut on a Saturday morning at Shipley's.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Long suffering is planting the field for the wheat.
Right.
The sugar cane for the sugar.
Making it yourself.
Yeah. Got to go get your baking soda. And I forgot what else is in a donut. And then after you harvest it, then you got to go mill it. And then you got to put it together. Then you got to bake it. That's long suffering.
You got to chop the wood and make the roller.
Yeah, don't forget, exactly. Don't forget to chop the wood for your oven. And then don't forget, you got to build your oven.
Oh, yeah.
That is long suffering.
Yeah. You got to build the table too.
Yeah. And the spoon and the bowl.
An area to make your...
You got to have it all.
This could go on and on.
Yeah, so that's long suffering. But in the end, you get this really delicious donut and you look back and you're like, wow, look at all I learned. I learned how to farm. I learned how to make wood. I learned how to be a carpenter. Yeah. You have all these things that you all of a sudden you have all these new tools.
You got some muscles chopping wood.
You got some muscles. You got all these tools now. You got a delicious donut, but look at all the tools you have.
Yeah.
Because you learned how to do it. Long suffering taught you everything.
Lord's teaching you. He's never not teaching you something.
Yeah, exactly. And you might as well learn from the Lord because when you learn from the Lord,
so much better.
It's so much better.
Doesn't mean it's easy, but it's easier than it would be.
The Lord said, "My burden is light. Take my yoke; it's light."
Yeah,
following the Lord, that part is. But the work, there's a lot of things we have to do to be a follower of Jesus. And there is work in it because we don't want to stay the same. We don't want to be stagnant. We want to change. We want to be that new creation. And you can't sit still and be a new creation. You've got to get transformed. He's got to work with you and teach you. And the thing is people watch you. I get people often, they'll say, I've watched you do this, and that's amazing. And I'm like, it ain't me. It's the Lord. Because I've done nothing.
I was just in the room.
Yeah. Believe me, I did not choose this path. I didn't choose it myself. The Lord's like, hey, guess what path we're going to go on? But the amazing thing is the neat thing is like my health journey is how many people I've been able to help and work with and show them, hey, these are the changes you need to make. And I had somebody come up to me not long ago and say, hey, by the way, I listened to what you said. I started making some changes and I feel better already.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, thank God, because that's my goal. I want you to feel good. I want you to feel, everybody talks about my energy. Okay. Some of it might be because I'm a little ADD, but
or a lot of coffee.
Okay. Or there could be that too.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is just because I'm excitable and I've been eating right and I've been eating right. And I feel good. And I want other people to feel good with me. I don't want anybody to feel miserable. What type of friend would want to make you feel miserable? You go eat that. That's going to make you feel bad, but who cares?
Yeah. So just about, and I don't know if you realize this, but almost every single Sunday, somebody walks up to Anna and asks a question. Or even if it's like, I've got this, what essential oil would work? Or I know somebody with this, can you recommend some? Or I'm dealing with this, any advice? Or blah, 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 blah. It's on and on and on. And I see it happen almost every single Sunday. But you talk about it so much that I don't even know if you realize.
I guess not, because that's just the going natural and doing the way the Lord asks us to do it. It's just
all the time.
All the time.
And so, she's able to help huge amounts of people just with...
just when I'm learning. The Lord has put some really great people in my life to teach me health, and then I get to share what they're learning. And
personal experience, that's what I'm...
Exactly. Yeah. And because I've worked with Dr. Amber, she thinks it's great that I share the information I'm learning. And we're learning together, and I'm going to go share something with her that I've learned, and she's going to share with me what she learned. And... and then we share with other people. She shares with other people. I'm sharing with other people because that's the way it should be.
Right.
Not supposed to keep it to ourselves. We share.
Pay it forward. Help others.
Help others. Man, I want people to feel good. I want them to feel good and get out there and do stuff with their families and do something to do the work of the Lord.
I mean, there's been so many times before you got healed or before you're healed that you had to go home.
I couldn't do anything.
There was no extra... anything.
No, there was times I would just be in bed. I couldn't hardly get out of bed.
Yeah.
And poor Ray would be like, well, let's go do this. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying. And I just couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
I was miserable and I felt bad and I couldn't go eat. And eating out was not enjoyable.
It wasn't even
miserable.
It was,
Yeah. I was just not a thing. Miserable. I got to the point where I didn't even want to eat. I don't want anybody else to be there. That is my miserable feeling. I don't want anybody to. Anyway,
you didn't know that you had all the allergies at the time.
Exactly. Or, and I don't know. The reason I got,
how did we get here?
I don't know. I'm talking about how excited she was and worship. We're sorry, ladies. I don't know how I got that far.
Listen, we apologize for nothing. Here we go.
Anyway, Genesis 24, verse 29. You know what's nice about a podcast? There's that 10-second button you can click.
What does that mean? Oh, for fast forward.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, hey,
let's fast forward a little bit.
To each his own.
Yeah, I don't mind. Fast forward. I get it. Totally get it.
Listen, I listen to our podcast sometimes and I think we're hilarious. I think we're funny. So, but it's fine if you don't. We are not offended.
Yeah, speaking of which...
we'll never know.
Well, I would say, speaking of which, I've never had a sense of humor. I actually had to learn how to have a sense of humor. And a lot of it is by God's grace and mercy that he really helped me to loosen up and find humor. And so people have been working with me. And finally, somebody the other day said, Anna, I love your sense of humor. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Listen, finally. I've known you for 11 years. I can attest that is a very true statement.
So I told my family, I want to say thank you. Somebody told me I was actually funny. And I just want to give thanks to my family who's been helping me and give me courtesy laughs.
Yeah. Very different Anna 11 years ago as opposed to today.
So it was great. But the same thing happened the other day. So Anna, where are you from? Texas. Born and raised right here. You mean you're not like, your last name is Jensen? You're not from Denmark?
Denmark?
That's my husband's last name. They came over 5 generations ago. Oh, really?
I mean, do you look Denmark?
I don't know, but
the
funnier part is that ain't the first time. That is,
you have a Texas accent. I don't get it.
I don't know either, but that is the second.
Twang.
That's the second time somebody's asked me, "Where are you from?" And I tell them, they're like,
"You even use Southern slang."
But you're Jensen. Isn't that Danish? That's my husband's last name. Really? Yes. Anyway, speaking of humor, I just had to go and throw that in. I'm starting to develop a identity crisis. Apparently, I'm in the wrong country.
Am I who I say I am? I do not know anymore.
I'm starting to think I need to move across the pond because nobody thinks I'm from around here. Anyway, I'm getting an identity crisis here. So anyway, Genesis.
Don't be discouraged.
Okay, Jennifer.
So close.
Genesis chapter 24, verse 29. Now, Rebekah had a brother whose name was Laban, and Laban ran out to the man by the well. So it came to pass when he saw the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister's wrist, and when he heard the words of his sister Rebekah saying, "Thus the man spoke to me," that he went to the man, and there he stood by the camels at the well. And he said, "Come in, O blessed of the Lord. Why do you stand outside? For I have prepared the house and a place for the camels." Then the man came to the house, and he unloaded the camels and provided straw and feed for the camels, and water to wash his feet and the feet of the men who were with him. Food was set before him to eat, but he said, "I will not eat until I am told about my errand." He said, "Speak on." So very, very hospitable. Here's a place to stay. We'll wash your feet. I got places for your camels. Now, the interesting part is that Bethuel, Rebekah's dad, is still alive. We'll see that in verse 50. So why is the brother making the deals? Something wrong with dad? Was just Laban happened to be great at negotiating? We're going to learn a little bit more about Laban later on when we meet his daughters. So hold that thought. We'll get back there. But we got to get through Rebekah first. So it is really unusual that the brother would be dealing with it instead of the dad. Now, maybe the dad was really old. Maybe there was something wrong. We don't know. We just know that we're dealing with Laban, not her dad. And
I never even caught that in all the times I've read this story until you said that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never even noticed that.
It was the commentary pointed that out. Well, what they pointed out is that they said that he's still alive. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he is. Huh. I had to go back and look at verse 50. I'm like, dude, he is alive. And then it said, but they agreed. They said the same thing. They don't know why. They thought maybe it was just Laban was better at negotiating. And I thought, well, maybe something was wrong with dad. Maybe dad was really old.
But there's no negotiation here. He's welcoming somebody into his house.
Yeah, but there will be.
But he doesn't know that yet.
I don't know. I'm just saying that they don't know. We don't know why, but Laban came out instead of the dad. So my personal guess is that dad was really, really old. And that it was like, I'm done. You're going to have to take over, son. But we will see that in a minute. So he's got food out, but with this neat, really, really about him. But now it could be that because of Laban, and we know Laban, he was eyeballing all the wealth. So he was welcoming the stranger and taking over because he wanted to see what all this wealth about. Because we see that actually later with Laban. We see that a lot later. And we don't know how old Laban is. We don't know how Rebekah is probably very young. It's not unlikely that she could be 14 or 15. And we don't know how old Laban is. Is Laban in his 20s? Is he in his 30s? We really don't know. We don't know how old mom and dad are. But
he could be a protective older brother.
He might be, or he just took over the family because dad was older and
maybe dad had a heart attack. We don't know.
We don't know. Mom's still alive. We don't know how old mom is. But anyway, the problem is because of Laban and what we see for him later, it's a possibility all he cared about was all the wealth. Yeah. What is this wealth about? How do I get a hold of it?
Guy's got gold. He's got camels.
Yeah, he's got 10 camels, all this stuff. Yeah, exactly. And based on, like you said, I didn't even look that up. 1 to 4 month journey. Mm-hmm. We don't, he packed a lot. So
that's right. Food, water.
Everything. He packed a lot of stuff.
Provisions for the family, what a dowry or whatever.
Yeah, he probably bought extra for the dowry.
He needed 10 camels, so he got stuff.
He has a bunch of stuff. Well, we know he pulled out some nose rings and some bracelets. We're going to see what else he pulls out here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that, like a good servant who's like a follower of Jesus, he's staying focused on the mission. He is like, yeah, this is great. Thanks for the food, but I need to talk to you first. I'm here on a mission. We can eat later. I got things to do. So God's will was before the food. And I'm sure this guy was hungry. He probably hadn't been eating great. I don't know, unless he hunted along the way. I don't know if it's mostly
he was just snacking on peanuts and fruit bars.
Exactly. Did he have some hardtack and biscuits and, little goat cheese or something? We don't know, but I'm sure this food looked really good. And I really like this because right now in America, we put food first. A lot of people live to eat. And that's not the right thought. Our thought should be that we need to eat to live. And that's what this guy's doing. Hey, that food looks really good, but I'm on a mission. I'm focused. I got kingdom work to do. And so that's a really good example for us in America to make sure that we are putting everything in the proper place. God's first. His kingdom work should be first. And it's hard because sometimes we're like, I'm tired, Lord. What about me? What am I doing? I just feel like I'm on the back burner. I do all this stuff and it seems to be not good enough. And I guarantee you that's not what the Lord's thinking. The Lord's thinking, you're doing kingdom work. Our reward's not here on earth. Our reward is in heaven. And that is what the Lord sees. Our treasure's in heaven. And so and it's hard to remember that because we live in a society that wants quick recognition. I mean, I see it more and more now, how people want to be recognized. People want to be lifted up on a pedestal. People want people to see them. Look at my job title. Look at what I do. But they don't want to do the work. They just want the title or the money or the prestige or the recognition, but they don't actually want to do the work. And so as a believer in Jesus, we know it's about the work. We've got to do this work and we got to stay focused and do our work no matter what everybody else is doing. And girl, it's hard. There are some days you're like, forget this. Why?
But we answer to one person.
Yes, we answer to Jesus.
We do it for him. And just like you always say, listen, we're scrubbing toilets here. We don't have a maid. We're scrubbing toilets here at the church for the Lord.
But you know what? There are days I'm scrubbing that toilet and I'm like, Lord, I would rather scrub this toilet for you than be on any corporate ladder.
Agreed.
Because at least I know that scrubbing a toilet, you have no choice but to be humbled. Because you got to stoop. You got to bend down. You got to go on your knees. You got to bend down to scrub a toilet.
Yeah. I mean, we've said it before. We love cleaning the church. Doesn't matter what the cleaning project is at the moment.
Yeah. And I couldn't tell you how many times I hurt my back cleaning this place.
For real.
And it's like, who cares? Everybody's like, Anna, watch your back. I'm like, I got to clean.
Yeah.
He's like, Anna. I'm like, but it's for the Lord.
Yeah.
But he's a husband. And he's like, you need to be but nice to your back. So when one of the other ladies goes, here, let me clean. But he's like, you let her clean. All right. I'll let her clean.
Yeah.
Because, they want the same blessings. Okay, fine. Go scrub a toilet.
That's true. We can't get all the blessings,
no,
Anna.
Exactly. So I like that.
Share the blessing.
Exactly. Scrubbing toilets. We should call this podcast Scrubbing Toilets. Catch everybody's attention.
It certainly would.
Ray's going to laugh because he's going to ask you, what do you want to call this podcast?
Yeah,
I'm going to call it Scrubbing Toilets.
Yep.
Staying focused. This is what this is about, though.
Okay,
Listen. What do you think? This is about being focused. This is about being a servant, about being respectful, about staying focused on kingdom work.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what he's doing. He's kingdom work focused. This guy has been waiting. He's probably been waiting a lot longer than 900 miles, but he's staying focused. He's staying the course for the God's will. And I just burped, and I'm so sorry. And I know it's been so long that we have forgotten what it was that we're seeking or praying and asking the Lord, but he will remind us. Right, Jonah?
Inside joke, but yes.
Yes. Yeah.
We're not going to do details, but the answer is yes.
No, but sometimes we get to the point where we forgot what we're on this journey. We talk about it all the time, the journey. You're on the journey and you get to somewhere and you're like, Lord, I'm lost. I have no street sign. I have no map. I have slightest clue where I am right now. You're going to have to remind me.
I've been driving for years.
Yeah. You're going to have to remind me why I'm here because I have forgotten.
Yeah.
And the Lord will. He does. He reminds every once in a while. We'll be like, oh yeah, that's where I'm at. Thanks, Lord. And you just keep on trekking along.
True fact.
Yeah.
So doesn't mean we have to like it, but it's a true fact.
But when you're doing God's work and kingdom work, we have got to stay focused. Satan wants to get you off the track. Satan wants to get you off of there. He does not want you doing God's will.
Look how long Sarah and Abraham tried for a child, and they finally got one.
Well, she was in her 80s. She was probably in her teens. So at least, 30, 40 years? Like 40? Probably at least minimum 40 years.
If she was in her 80s?
Yeah, if she was 20. She's probably younger than 20. So it's probably over 40 years of trying for a baby.
How old was she when she got married?
I don't think they said, but we can guess probably around 14 or 15. That was typical.
Okay, so 80. So that's like
80-something.
70 years, 60-something years. Well over 40.
20 minus 8 minus 2. Oh, yeah, 60. I don't know why I was thinking.
Your math is fuzzy.
I was thinking of 40. I don't know why. I was thinking 40 instead. I was thinking 40 instead of 20, and I don't know why I was thinking 40 instead of 20.
I'm like, you got 20 years missing.
Yeah, I did. I don't know why I was thinking. I was like, why was I thinking 40 instead of 20? I was meant 20, and
I'm sorry.
not 40.
I'm the numbers girl. I can't help it.
Well, normally I like numbers, so it failed me today.
Oh yeah, I'm like so off.
Failed me on my numbers. I don't know why I was thinking 40 instead of 20.
I don't know. That's
I don't know either. Anyway, so
anywho,
exactly,
listen,
really long time.
Yeah. So they got sidetracked and they did it their way. It didn't go well.
Probably why it took longer is because sorry.
The Lord might have answered it sooner. You're right. If they had not done things their own way, but they had to follow some consequences.
Hit my finger. Hang on.
We need to wrap that up.
No, I got a lecture from Stevie about not wrapping up fingers when you have cuts, because then it gets wet and then it gets bacteria and then it gets worse. And okay, all right, I'm right. So we got to stay the course for God's will and kingdom work, ladies. We cannot forget, maidservants of the Lord. We cannot forget that we're here on earth for kingdom work. And you're like, Anna, Joanna, I don't know what my kingdom work is. Ask the Lord. He will tell you. We all have a different job. We all have a different job in the kingdom. Some scrub toilets, some dust, some clean and organized storage closets. All of it's important. All of it's important. You just got to ask the Lord what your job is.
And it may not be your time yet. I didn't know that helping women who had been abandoned and abused was going to be my kingdom work until after I was abandoned and abused.
Right. Exactly.
So I had to go through some things in order to, for the Lord to create my kingdom work.
Yep. And I'm not sure exactly what mine is some days, other than trying to tell people about Jesus. That's all I want to do. But also some of it is just living it instead of speaking it. And I think that's been one of my biggest learning lessons is how do I show kingdom work and not let my mouth get in the way? Because I think too many, especially women, I love you ladies, I'm one of you, our mouths gets us in trouble all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
Does.
It started in the garden. Eve went in trouble where? Her mouth.
Yeah.
That's where it started.
And then she blame.
It's that one.
Played the blame
so did Adam, but I mean, I'm just saying that it started with Eve and her mouth. Yeah. If she hadn't been talking to the serpent, man, my vocabulary words today.
You got this, Anna.
Had not been talking to that serpent, we would be a very different story.
At the tree she was told to avoid.
Who had the idea? Let's go to a picnic at the tree that we're supposed to avoid. Oh, hey, look, there's a talking serpent. Let's listen.
Yeah.
I mean, really. So, ladies, that's
did any other animal talk? We don't know. But that one certainly did. And I bet you none of the others did either.
I still don't know if the conversation actually started with, oh my gosh, you talk? Or was it, oh, hey, what's up? I just talked to the butterfly a minute ago. I don't know. All I know is
I'm thinking Alice in Wonderland. Yeah. All the animals are talking.
Thank you for letting us share our tools to become the women God created us to be. If we encouraged you today, visit us at moderndayabigails.com. Remember, you are loved, cherished, and prayed over.